Welcome to Bayana, the heartbeat of tech in MENA. We bring you raw stories and sharp insights from the founders, investors, and leaders building the region's startup ecosystem. Today, we're jumping into a deep dive it's a classic founder journey, born right here from personal frustration, and is tackling this huge global problem, how students figure out where to go to university.
Exactly. And this isn't just, another ed tech story. It's really a masterclass in spotting a genuine pain point, that whole complicated, often biased, super expensive maze of finding the right university globally and starting from absolute zero to build something. I think for anyone building or investing in startups, there are some incredible lessons here, just sheer grit and market validation.
Absolutely. So the founder behind this is Tarek Shafik, and his own experience, that was the catalyst, right? He mentioned that before applying, he actually had no clue what Lancaster University was. Think about that for a second. A major global university just completely off his radar. And what changed his mind? It was meeting the program president who happened to visit his high school.
That personal connection, it really hits on a fundamental issue, doesn't it? Students often just limit their options. They stick to the handful of stereotypical pathways they hear about.
Yeah, the usual suspects in the UK or the US.
Right. Tarek saw his own peers doing this and realized, hang on, they're missing out on this whole world of potentially better fitting programs just because they didn't know they existed.
So this realization really, it got under his skin.
Yeah.
He apparently spent 3 years during the pandemic just intensely thinking about this, really digging into the global education landscape. But here's where the story gets. Well, it's just classic startup hustle. He didn't actually start building anything until he was doing his mandatory military service back in Egypt.
Right. I mean, picture that scenario. Limited time, stripped environment, maybe just an old Nokia phone. Not exactly the ideal setup for launching a tech company.
Not at all.
But the idea was clearly just burning. It wasn't the time for fancy design or, complex code. It forced pure ingenuity.
Which he found. Somehow, within just 2 weeks, he managed to get transferred to a post where he could actually use a phone.
Wow. Okay.
And that access, that became the key. He didn't launch an app, not a website. How did he kick things off?
A WhatsApp group chat. Seriously.
No way.
Yeah. After all that thinking, the very first step was just sending a message out to friends, family, saying, add everyone you know who could be an advisor, a student, a recent grad.
And the response tells you everything.
Yeah.
Overnight, that group just blew up. 50 people.
50 people. Engaging, ready to talk about this specific problem.
Right.
With no product, no brand, nothing.
Just the raw need. The start of a network.
Yeah, and those early days were completely manual. We're talking Tarek personally, texting every single person.
Wow.
Scheduling calls during his tiny holiday breaks from service, tracking everything in Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, man.
Booking sessions, that was all back and forth on WhatsApp and email. The actual calls happened on Google Meet. It wasn't scalable tech. It was just pure founder grit, Validating demand one chat at a time.
Okay, so that incredible, almost painful manual hustle proved the problem was definitely real. How did that early validation shape the actual solution? Zeedu. Their mission talks about rediscovering curiosity, connecting generations.
Well, the really sharp insight that came out of all that manual work is actually beautifully simple. The most valuable guidance. It comes directly from someone who has just lived that experience. So Zeedu's core idea is connecting students directly with these real advisors, current university students, recent grads, people with firsthand knowledge.
And this directly tackles the frustrations Tarek felt and saw in others, right? Think about the alternatives. You've got high school counselors who are absolutely vital, but often just completely overloaded.
Yeah, one counselor trying to help dozens, sometimes hundreds of students, delivering that really personal, in-depth support consistently. It's incredibly difficult.
And then there are the traditional third-party agencies. Now, some are good, sure, but the industry, well, it's often hit by commission-based bias, isn't it?
Definitely. Agencies getting incentives to push students towards specific universities that pay them. Or, frankly, they just charge these eye-watering amounts. Thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, huge sums. So Zeedu just bypasses both of those issues.
Pretty much. By connecting students directly to advisors who have zero commission incentive, you eliminate that bias and the cost. It's just a fraction of those traditional services.
What kind of cost are we talking?
The average session seems to be between $25 to $45 an hour, which, makes getting genuine first-hand insights way more accessible for students everywhere.
Okay, that's a big difference. And how do they make sure these peer advisors are legitimate? The trust factor must be key.
Absolutely. There is a clear vetting process. Advisors have to provide proof of identity, like an ID upload, and actual proof they study or graduated from where they say they did. So an admissions letter or a graduation certificate.
Got it. Checks and balances.
And their rates aren't random either. It's set uniquely, mostly based on where they study, and there's a bonus structure to encourage really good, helpful advice. It's building a marketplace where that authentic experience is the real currency.
And validating this model wasn't just about that first WhatsApp group, was it? Tarek's commitment seems intense.
Yeah.
He personally attended every single Zedu advising session so far.
That's what the story says. It's serious dedication. And what he apparently keeps seeing in those sessions is that students' questions, they go way beyond just, application deadlines or grades.
Right. They want the real scoop.
Exactly. They want to know about student life, the campus vibe, how easy it is to actually talk to professors, all that qualitative stuff that helps them figure out, is this really the right place for me?
Which is huge, especially if you can't afford to fly around visiting campuses beforehand.
Yeah.
That information gap is massive.
Totally. And what's also really interesting is that while this maybe started with MENA students in mind, the demand quickly went way beyond the region.
Where else were they seeing interest?
Well, significant traction from places like sub-Saharan Africa, apparently incredibly talented students there, but often with limited exposure to the sheer range of global university options. Ghana and Nigeria were mentioned specifically.
Right.
And Asia, of course, is another massive market. China and India have some of the largest international student populations globally.
So it confirms this isn't just a regional problem, it's universal.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of starts to redefine what studying abroad even means, doesn't it? It's not just about London or New York anymore.
Precisely. It's about finding the right fit for you, globally, wherever that might turn out to be.
So, looking ahead, scaling this.
Yeah.
Partnerships seem key. What was their thinking there? Because they made a really interesting choice about who not to partner with.
Yeah, that's one of their biggest strategic decisions. They are actively avoiding affiliations with universities themselves.
Which feels a bit counterintuitive at first glance, maybe.
It does, but it goes right back to that core value prop, impartiality. Tarek's very clear that partnering with universities brings the risk of bias. He basically said they don't want to be steering students towards certain institutions just because we need the cash. He added, that's not what we're here to do.
Makes sense. Stick to the mission. So, if not universities, who do they want to partner with?
Their preferred route is directly with high schools, which makes a ton of sense, actually.
How so?
Because it empowers the schools. It makes the job of those already stretched school counselors much more efficient, potentially more fruitful, too.
Ah, okay. So it supports the existing structure.
Exactly. And it gives counselors real-time insights. They can see who's exploring what, maybe who's falling behind or struggling to find options, who needs that bit of extra guidance. It integrates right into the school system.
Clever. But to support that kind of scale, the tech needs to be really good.
Oh, absolutely. The team knows the product has to be solid. Really seamless. Not just for the students, but also for the advisors, the parents, and crucially, those high school teachers and counselors.
And are they close to launching that?
Sounds like it. They're gearing up for launch after months of development work. The app should be hitting the Apple App Store pretty soon, apparently.
Okay, big step.
And another important step, especially locally here in the UAE, was getting their Knowledge and Human Development Authority, the KHDA, approval. That reinforces their mission, opens doors for more students here to connect reliably.
So, wrapping it up, from a personal frustration through some serious military-grade hustle, Zedu is basically aiming to redefine higher education navigation, make it simpler, more accessible, free from bias.
And ultimately just empowers students all over the world to find their actual right path. It's a powerful reminder for founders, isn't it? Your deepest insights might just come from your own struggles.
Yeah.
And that initial validation, it doesn't always need complex tech to get started. Sometimes it's just about connecting people.
Okay, so here's something to chew on then. If firsthand experience is proving to be the most valuable guide in making education choices, where else? Where else in life, or maybe career decisions, could connecting directly with people who have actually been there totally revolutionize the traditional ways we get guidance?
That's a good question. Something to think about.
For more stories like this, subscribe to Bayanat's newsletter and stay updated on the latest in MENA's tech and startup ecosystem.